Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Michelle here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Raymond, and he's selling his dropshipping business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Welcome to the show, Raymond. How are you today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to have you here today, and I'm looking forward to learning more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of it. It's a dropshipping business in the apparel and accessories niche created in January 2018. The average monthly revenue for the business is $19,874, and it makes an average of $4,634 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 56289 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's see what's included. So we're looking at a primary domain and all site content files, an email list with 5,700 subscribers, which is stored in Klaviyo, social media accounts for Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, standard operating procedures for uploading products, contact information for suppliers, employee contracts, and a payment gateway account. So Raymond, now let's hear from you. Can you fill us in a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, so I started doing dropshipping back in 2017, selling various products. I had two pretty successful businesses, one of them being this one, and another being like another niche. And yeah, they were doing well. I started them in college. After I graduated from college, they were doing really well. So decided not to get a job, continued with both of them, started an agency with a partner, and recently I just joined a really cool startup.
That's great. So how did you come up with the idea to start this?
Yeah, so it was in a niche that I was already in. At that time, there weren't many people doing this, but I had contact with like another business on AliExpress. We hit it off, and I saw like a niche that was not fulfilled. There's something in SEO called an EMD domain, exact match domain. And at that time, I bought that domain because they haven't bought it at that time. So I reached back out. I was like, hey, I have like your guys' domain. Do you want to work with me? And that caught them off guard because like, I guess they weren't expecting someone to buy like their domain. So I just doubled down on that, crafted up like a really good user experience for like the website, had like a lot of assets that they gave me. So videos, pictures. So all of the creative side, like they're really high quality professional videos and pictures. And yeah, like I said, I doubled down by crafting like a really good user experience on the website because I do have like a background in computer science. So I try to craft something that people would like in that niche. And luckily it worked out.
No, it sounds like that's fantastic that you already had experience in the niche and with your background. It sounds like you just really hit the ground running with this. So can you explain to us how this business primarily makes money?
Yeah, so two main ways, one being SEO. So like I said before, we have an EMD domain that matches a query that is pretty popular in the niche that I am in. So it's ranking number one right now. I think average monthly queries is about like 4,000, but it's really high intent because a lot of other dropshippers are advertising this same brand, but I just happen to own that domain. So it makes it look like that I am the one like behind the business. And when they come on my website, like it's really branded, the fonts, the colors, everything is cohesive. So people do think that I am actually like the brand owner for this. So that's a really unique advantage. The other one being Google Ads as well. So in my particular niche, there's a few categories that I am in. And the amount of queries for these keywords amount to about like in the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands per month. So overall, really consistent revenue based on these keyword searches. And all we have to do is bid on these keywords, try to craft ads that are relevant, and then crafting an overall funnel that people will like so that customers do convert.
And you have a drop shipping business. So why did you choose that business model? What attracted you to that one?
Yeah, so it was just naturally because I started in 2017. I didn't have like a lot of money, so that's like the model that everyone starts with, I guess. And then at that time, I just continued because I was talking to my suppliers. They gave me good pricing for each unit and then for the shipping cost per unit. So I was like really attracted to it and just continue off of that. But furthermore from that, I did buy in bulk later on, and then I did ship out from my house. So that added to some pretty nice margins for my bestsellers.
And it sounds like you've put a lot of effort into making this an eye-catching, user-friendly, successful website. So why have you decided to sell the business now, other than is it just because you've now taken this position with a startup, or do you have other reasons?
Yeah. So the agency that I started with a partner. That one's growing at a pretty fast rate and faster than we both expected. So that's obviously a good problem to have. And yeah, the other reason is definitely because I joined a startup, and this startup is something that I'm really passionate about, actually. So it's like an up and coming industry. And the startup is like the business or like the startup to be in if you want to be part of this industry. So this is something I'm really passionate about. It affects everything, I guess, that we do every single day. So yeah, it's like a lot of work for my own agency and for this startup, and it's a total time suck. So yeah, that's the primary two reasons that I'm selling the business.
Well, that's understandable. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
So is there anything you've learned from this business that you'll apply to future sites or businesses going forward, even if you're not going back into online businesses?
Yeah. So the thing that I really learned about, I guess, this brand and the brands that I built and the agency, and I still apply it to the agency too, as well as to other future projects, would definitely be how to craft a funnel that does convert. So when I was first learning things, like I didn't really know what was like going on and stuff. So I try to learn from like other popular brands in my niche and other brands that people advertise like a lot on Facebook and whatnot. So I crafted everything to like mirror these brands that I admired and try to dissect like their entire funnel for like their product pages, right? But since I had like a lot of SKUs, the question became like, oh, how do I duplicate these funnels onto like dynamically onto each of these SKUs without it being a big issue? So I got into like front-end web development for the Liquid side of Shopify. So that definitely helped a lot in the Google Shopping space, Google ad space for ranking my products on Google Shopping. And then when they did click, no matter what product they clicked, they had the same funnel experience that I can dynamically build for each of the products and it not be static.
It's just unbelievable, like everything that you've kind of researched and developed to make this site work. So did you try things that didn't work? Was there ever a point where you had to go back and redo something or tried something out that just didn't get you the results that you wanted?
I would say overall, and luckily I can say this, like most of the things that I did try did work out, probably because I'm a little more on the technical side, like the math side, like, oh, like I have like X amount of probability to like get this right. But I would say the one thing that I really wish I got, but I didn't, and this is probably because I spent way too much time on the Google ad side and my other businesses, because that's my concentration, is definitely the Facebook ad side. There are like other brands in this niche that double down heavy and would love to have like a brand like the one that I've created so they can launch like a bunch of Facebook ads and do like a bunch of like their own creatives so they can market it. For the creative side, I just use the stuff that my supplier gave me, which is probably like a big no-no in like every Facebook marketer's book. So I didn't like go out and shoot custom content and, try to have like a cut and like a Band-Aid type of like Facebook ads video or like whatever technique like you can think of. So in that regard, yeah, like that part I did fail on because I just didn't focus too much on the creative side, because the Google side isn't really much about the creative side. It's more about the user experience and how you rank on Google Ads, Google Shopping, and all that.
Well, you touched upon this earlier when you were talking about the SEO work that you've done and the Google Ads, but where does the majority of your traffic come from?
Majority right now is, I believe, Google Ads for sure. Just running ads all day from the retargeting side and from the cold traffic side mostly. So yeah, definitely the Google Ads side.
So you've got Google Ads running, Facebook ads, and then your SEO work. So what else? Do you do anything else in terms of marketing?
Yeah, so the things you touched upon, and then as well, email marketing is really big in my book. Yeah, like actually the agency is an email marketing agency that we run. So the email marketing, side of things is really important. And I come to learn that it's really important for all the brands that I've been running because, and if you kind of think about it, like your e-commerce store, like a retail setting, right? If your e-commerce store is the typical conversion rate for e-commerce stores, like 1% to 2%. So like if you think of like 100 people to come to your website, but only like 1 or 2 people buy, that's actually kind of sad if you put it in the perspective of like a retail setting, right? So your goal in a sense is to capture like as many people as possible when they're on the site so you can like remarket to them later. So we do like a lot of lead captures for email on, this website. It does convert pretty well for the coupon side. And we do weekly campaigns for the products that are sold. So that definitely does help in driving revenue as shown by Klaviyo.
That's fantastic. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the potential growth of your business. So what are some of the major opportunities for growth? And if you were to keep the business, what are some of the ways you would try to grow it?
Yeah, so there are 3 really big things that could be used as an opportunity to like grow this business. So the first one is being wholesale. So last year and this year, like a lot of people are reaching out about wholesale deals for the products that we did have in like bulk quantities. The nice thing is that we have, I think, I only did like one wholesale deal before because at that time I just didn't really concentrate on it. But that one wholesale deal, I think total they paid was like 10K, but we had like a 50% margin on it. So it was like 5K in like net profit. And that was in regards to this brand that I have with the EMD domain ranking number 1, looking like the legit brand that it is. And people really thinking that like, hey, this brand is like the brand. Like I want to contact them and get their products right in bulk. So now, like I noticed, because it's been like 2 years now, last year, people reaching out in Q4, Q3, Q4 again this year. It's because a lot of event sourcing companies like reach out and they're like, hey, we want your products for our clients' events. And they're asking for like 100 units to like 400 units. And like I said before, it's like a 50% like margin. So like this is like a really big thing. And if you go out to like the wholesale route and reach out to these big clients, you can find like a lot of like bulk deals as well. And the second thing is social media. So we just recycle like social media or like professional pictures from our suppliers, which is fine, but we don't really ask the suppliers for like more pictures because primarily it wasn't really part of like, I guess, the marketing mix that I was doing. But crafting like, UGC, user generated content, and doing your own pictures, that would be great as well. And then the third thing is obviously media buying for the Facebook side and the social media side. Like I know other brands in my niche, like I said before, they would love to have a brand like this so they can scale it up, with the front being like, it looks like a legit brand and the user experience is like really awesome. So if you were to go that route, doing custom creatives and then running Facebook, TikTok traffic would be the best way to go. And these brands that I'm talking about, they were selling like hundreds of units, thousands of units like every single day. And I know this because I heard from like other people, but that's just one of the routes that you can go if you did scale up with social media.
All right. And can you describe the amount and type of work that you do for this business for maintenance?
Yeah. So it's just like an hour, maybe like on a rare case is like 2 hours like a week. But most of the time for customer service, which is the main thing that's happening right now, like everything's pretty automated with Facebook, or not Facebook, Google traffic going in and just converting because the funnel is just pretty good. The VAs just go in and just do the customer service side. And then we usually have like a weekly call. Sometimes like if they need anything, they'll just message me like on Skype, like, hey, we have a problem. Okay, I'll answer it. But if there is a problem, they just put it on Asana. We have like a bunch of like Asana boards. Every single day I just check it. They assign it to me. I just type in some stuff, assign it back to them, and they deal with the problem. And just like every single day I check it. But besides that, I just export a CSV file to the supplier, send me like Alibaba link to like pay. And then I just pay for the order. They send me back the tracking numbers on that sheet, and then I just upload. But besides those two things, it's pretty much automated. Oh, sorry. And then the email side too. Make email tasks on Asana, assign it to our email marketer, and then they'll make it, and then we'll just schedule it out.
And what skills or requirements do you think there are for someone who's not familiar with the niche or the business model?
I would probably say they would have to have like some ad experience or know someone with ad experience like on their team. So like, how like to craft an ad, obviously. So we primarily do Google ads. If you don't know how to do Google ads, I can teach you how to do it for shopping and for search. Have some concept of like web design. and what fits the brand and what doesn't. Obviously, you would want font sizes, colors to be cohesive. So knowing where things should probably go should probably be in the thought of mind. Maybe have some basic level understanding of HTML, CSS, and Liquid so you can edit stuff around. But these things aren't really necessary as I can teach them.
So Raymond, what do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
I would say overall, it is a dropshipping business. So things could be negatively impacted by increase of COGS from our supplier. But actually, like, that hasn't happened. And actually, cost has been going down because like we have been a premier supplier for like obvious reasons, because like we have their domain and we've been working together for like 2 years. So things have been great. However, I will say for COVID, that did impact the business. So obviously, like everyone knows, like during COVID, all supply chains got messed up. So shipping costs for what we used before for Union Express went up. And at that time, shipping times were like unknown. So we switched to DHL, which was like 33% more. So instead of like $20 per unit, it was like $30 per unit. So luckily this went back to normal, and we're once again using Union Express, and the shipping times are great again. But these black swan events are completely like unpredictable. So just something to be aware of. And at that time too, we also bought bulk. So that was a time I was shipping out from my apartment for these units and shipping out to our customers for like cost savings. And that was a pretty good learning experience actually. So yeah, that's also one opportunity as well for doing bulk.
All right. And would you be willing to commit to a non-compete?
Yeah.
And how much support are you offering buyers?
I know it's typical to have like a standard 30-day with like Skype support or like whatnot, but it all evolves down to like what the buyer needs. Like if they need more time, I'm more than willing to accept as much time as needed. That is reasonable. But yeah, just let me know and then I will help.
Great. So would you be open to negotiating something like an earn-out?
At this time, I'm not interested in doing an earn-out.
All right. And putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Like I said before, there are many opportunities to grow in those 3 points that I've listed, especially the wholesale and the social media ad side. But overall, the brand is there. The website is there. All the time I put in for coding this thing up, for the theme, having like a really good user experience and like understanding the niche is all there as well. I just think that it just needs a buyer to execute on the creative side as well as the wholesale side. And of course, whatever you're thinking can be executed as well.
Okay, great. And is there anything else that you'd like to share that I might have missed?
I don't think so.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Raymond. It's been a pleasure to learn more about you and your business.
Yeah, pleasure talking to you.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 56289. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.